Sherm Chester here on this edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast, and he's here. Finally, we got Mike Murphy, who is the Associate Athletic Director for Marketing and Communications for the UNH Wildcats. Mike, good to have you on board.
Sherm, it's amazing, the back and forth. I appreciate all the cards I've gotten from fans of the Seacoast Sports Forum saying, "Where is Murphy? We need Murphy." I heard your pleas, fans. I heard your pleas.
There you
I'm
go.
back. Thank you, Sherm, for bringing me back.
Hey, we always have a fun time when you have time to come jump on board with us. You're a busy man. I know you're a moving target there at UNH, busy with the Wildcats, not just the football team. You're handling all sorts of sports there at UNH. And we'll start off though. Let's start with the football team. Good start as far as I'm concerned. I mean, okay, you lost to Ball State, but that they were competitive in that game. And now we're coming home, played Dartmouth. That was a good game. We had a good game against them, even though we came up on the short side. But now we get to an old opponent, the University of Albany Great Danes. Size up what's going on with the season from your perspective.
I love your optimism, Sherm, because the team got off to a really good start, winning the first two games, one down at North Carolina Central, and then in the downpour with lightning, our home opener was spoiled by Mother Nature, but Nick Reed, who's the transfer kicker from Buffalo, the best leg I ever seen at UNH, kicked a game-winning field goal. We beat Holy Cross. And then, Ball State, FBS team, so it's playing up a level for those who don't follow as closely. Ball State plays at the same level as Michigan and Ohio State, but they were much lower considered than Ohio State and Michigan. Still more scholarships than the UNH. They were the home team. Wildcats gave them all that could handle, fell. The Dartmouth one's tough. So it's been a tough week in that regard. I mean, you have to put it away. Rick Santos says, give it 24 hours, break down the film, and then turn the page, and that's what the team has done. You never want to lose your rivalry game, and a game the Cats led on the road 10-0, but the Granite Bowl resides in Hanover for a while, so that's a bitter pill to swallow. But now, 2-2, you clean the slate because UAlbany comes in 1 o'clock Saturday for Military Appreciation Day. And we're also honoring the 1975 and 1976 back-to-back Yankee Conference championship teams. So we're talking about Sean McDonough when he played, Hall of Fame coach Bill Bowes, and all those players are coming back. It is a big, big game to open up the CAA Saturday at 1.
Now that'll be something to witness because, matter of fact, I just met one of those players that was on those teams. And it'll be fun. He's looking forward to that homecoming and with the guys he was in the trenches with.
Well, there's such rich history of UNH football, as you know, Sherm. And for the younger folks, you think about what's happened when Rick Santos was playing here from the early 2000s, 2004 through 2017, making the FCS playoffs every year. That was unheard of before. A team made a run in 1994, but those late 70s teams, amazing when you think about the accomplishments, winning the conference back-to-back years. Again, Bill Bowes is in the College Football Hall of Fame, and then he developed Sean McDonough, who belongs in the College Football Hall of Fame. And exactly. Coach McDonough developed Ryan Day, who one day could be, he's certainly the national championship coach right now, and if he keeps going, he might be a Hall of Fame coach.
Sure. There's a tradition there for sure. And, I know people at the beginning of the season we're kind of unsure of how the Wildcats season would shake out because they have a young team. And but I've said this to Roger Brown and others that will listen to me. I think that's where Rick Santos, being a young coach, has an advantage because when you've got a team that has a lot of talent, but it's raw talent, you got to develop it. And I think that's where the younger coaches can relate to these guys and get the best out of them.
Yeah, Coach Santos, you're spot on, Sherm. Even though he's not as young as he once was, he still feels young. He still has that energy, and players feed off of him. He's got that charisma. He's walked the walk and is such a supporter of his guys. Stays positive. He likes to say you either win or you learn. So the Dartmouth game was a learning experience, and he never gets down. But as far as trying to forecast how the team would look, you're right. Last year, we were replacing Max Brosmer and Dylan Laube, two guys in the NFL, and the team made it to the playoffs. We'd never heard of Seth Morgan. Now Seth is on the coaching staff after 1 year as quarterback, and Matt Veza's getting his turn as the starting QB. Running backs, Miles Thomason, Denzel Gibson, Elliott Miney. It's by committee, but guys who have been around, but you just didn't know what they could do. And Peyton Strickland stepped up at tight end, a New Hampshire guy, when Colby Ramshaw, unfortunately, a captain, former walk-on who was lost for the year with a knee injury. But that's the beauty of college football, and same with high school football. There's always new guys stepping in, and you worry, you have anxiety, but you also have anticipation. Let's see what new guys can do. You mix young with transfer portal, and it's been magical because of the coaching staff.
And Matt Veza, a good example. I mean, now there was a question mark going into the season is who would be the quarterback, and I think he had his chance down there in North Carolina, and he made the best of that, and he's proven that I think that he's got the tools and the toolkit, and just listen to the coach, and good things are going to happen for the next few years.
Well, last year, they brought in, I said Seth Morgan last year. Matt Veza was on the team, and he competed and did not get the starting job, but he stayed in the program, developed. This year, they brought in another transfer quarterback, Brooks Bentley. Bentley's from a D2 school. Let's see how he does. Wingate University came from, whereas a year ago, Morgan came from Shepherd's. But Veza won the job, an open job in camp, and he has proven to be an excellent starter. Hard-nosed kid. Last week, it's tough being a quarterback. When you throw what looks like a perfect pass and it goes through a wide receiver's hands and becomes an interception, they don't charge those INTs to the receivers. They charge them to the QB. And Veza's been a terrific leader and a nice find in the first month of the year.
And again, he's, we saw one of the best I've ever seen in Max Brosmer, and obviously he's proven himself, taking a step from the Wildcats, going out to Minnesota for a year, and now with the Vikings. And I know he's third on the depth chart there, but you know something? I can smell someday he's going to get a break. He's going to get his shot because he's got the mentality for it. And in preseason, I know I got to see him in one of those games, and he's not afraid. He wasn't mesmerized by, hey, I'm here in the NFL now. What do I do?
No, just the opposite. I mean, the Max Brosmer trajectory is something to marvel at. I remember him coming to campus as a freshman, middle of the semester, graduated high school early, got to UNH in January of his true freshman year. So he was able to get into the workout program, learn the offense between January and spring. So when that following fall came, he was already developed, came back from a catastrophic knee injury that cost him a year, won the Player of the Year award, had that extra year of eligibility, and took it to the Big Ten at the University of Minnesota, held his own there last year. And that's why when he didn't get drafted, which I know was a disappointment, but immediately the Minnesota Vikings knew who he was. He played on the same roof down the road. And that has proven to be a great situation, as the Vikings quarterback situation, unfortunately, due to injury to J.J. McCarthy. Now, Carson Wentz has stepped in, played extremely well against Atlanta, but he played so well, the Vikings had such a big lead that Brosmer got in. He's now played NFL snaps only, 2 weeks into his NFL career.
And then we don't want to forget his tag team partner with the Wildcats, Dylan Laube, the Las Vegas Raiders. I hope that he just gets his chance, because we saw the raw talent of that kid, and again, he's got the tools in the toolkit, and it's up to a team to say, hey, get out there and do it. And I hope he gets his big break. I know he's getting some playing time, but get that real time out there behind the quarterback, or just be that safety valve for the quarterback.
Yeah, Laube's been great. Like he started by being a special teams guy, kick coverage, kick returns, has been playing wide receiver, terrific athlete, infectious personality. So it's great to have two Wildcats in the NFL right now, guys who are close friends who played here. And it's pretty special. It really is.
I don't want to bring it up because I know it's a sore spot with you, but why didn't the Jets take either of those kids?
It is a sore spot. In fact, Laube's from Long Island, and I was begging. I said, please don't get drafted by the Patriots. I said, and go to the Jets. And, there is a video out there of Dylan Laube when he was young in high school. People can Google if they want and find this on YouTube. You know how the NFL draft, it goes to the fifth round, sixth round, and they start to get cute with how they announce picks. Well, when he was in high school, he and a bunch of his teammates announced one of the Jets picks, and there's young Dylan Laube, you know, pumping his fist, shaking, looking like, but he was probably like 16 years old. So I don't think he really grew up a Jets fan. A little bit, but yeah, I would have loved, I would have given anything for those guys to be Jets, and maybe one day, sure, maybe one day.
Well, I was just going to say, right here in Exeter, I know we've been pulling for a kid, Hunter Long, who was with the Blue Hawks, and he went on to Boston College, and then he got drafted by the Miami Dolphins, and the Dolphins didn't know what to do with him. They were three deep at the time in tight ends, and he just was there. Got sent out to Los Angeles. They didn't know what to do with him. Now he's with the team. I wish he had been drafted back 4 years, 5 years ago, whatever it's been, the Jacksonville Jaguars, because with Trevor Lawrence, who has to prove himself, he's been one of those quarterbacks that was going to be a phenom and just kind of has been there. Now he's got a safety valve, that guy he can go to, and Hunter's a smart kid, a big kid, and I hope that he gets his time in the box too.
Yeah, it's you clearly you cheer for the guys no matter what team they play for. And it is surreal sometimes to think that Dylan Laube is playing in an offense run by Chip Kelly,
Yeah, that too.
who's always around New Hampshire. And then Pete Carroll's the head coach.
Hmm.
And Tom Brady is part owner. Like these guys are all together on the same team. That doesn't seem right. Sure. It sounds like a fantasy in my mind, but it's really happening in 2025.
Sounds like that degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
And there's almost no separation. Like I've heard that, Tom Brady visits with Coach Kelly and helps them in the offense sometimes. And that means Dylan Laube's directly benefiting from those minds working with him.
Well, I tell you, we wish everybody, well, the current team, obviously, a lot of luck going the rest of the way. And as far as the old timers, the veterans, good luck to them. And like you say, you never know where they go turn up. You never ever know. Just find a home where they get to use their skills. That's the bottom line with me. I just want to see a team that needs a player utilize that player. Period.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's a nice reminder, Sherm, that UNH is not FBS, it's still FCS, but you can play at the highest level if you
right.
come play for the Wildcats, and fans can see that on display at Wildcat Stadium every year.
And now I noticed, I'm going to just throw a plug in. I know most of the games are on Flow for the to watch them. Of course, they're on the radio. Our friend Justin McIsaac is bringing in the play-by-play.
So the early season, because it's non-conference, we played at NC Central. That was on ESPN Plus. Ball State was ESPN Plus, and then Dartmouth was Nesson. Our friend Bob Lippman had the call. But now that we're in CAA play, every other game, home and away, is on Flow College. So it's worth getting the subscription because you can watch every Wildcat football game and watch the opponents, and you can watch it live or on demand.
There you go. There you go. And of course, for radio and on the internet, you can listen to our buddy Justin.
I'm near, yeah, Justin's a great friend, and I'm a radio guy. I listen to a lot. I'm traveling around or on campus covering other sports. Justin, Brian Espinette, Evan Gray have been companions of mine all throughout the region when I can't be there live.
They do a great job. They really do and bring something to the game. That's what's important because I tell radio, well, and I wanted to touch on this before we get back to the other Wildcat sports, but broadcasting is a kind of a quirky animal. You play by play for TV is one thing and radio another. And I think radio is where the real challenge is because you have to know, the person you're painting the picture for the listener. As opposed to TV, you have to know when to step back and let the pictures tell the story.
Radio is near and dear to me. I mean, I've done radio for a while at some low level, but it's an honor to be doing the UNH hockey games I put on the radio. So for old school people who listen to the radio, we're still on 96.7 FM out of Portsmouth, 6:10 AM WGIR from Manchester, and 9:30 AM from Rochester. But I think a lot more people now use this.
Yeah.
Those aren't watching, it's the phone. It's crystal clear when you use the app, whether it's iHeart or the Varsity app through Learfield, and you can listen to every game crystal clear, and it's just a lot of fun. And I love the ESPN, and I love Flow, and our broadcasters are all talented. But there's something about radio because you're broadcasting to the UNH audience specifically. Right. You don't have to be as 50-50, if you will, as the television guys do.
Yeah, you're bleeding blue.
And I you know what? I never apologize for that. They'll
That's
pull
right.
me off the air, Sherm, before I am caught cheering for the other team. I'll tell you that.
Someday we'll have to get Justin with you together because you guys, when it comes to awards and state and national awards, you guys, got a shelf full of them. But one thing I have asked others, and I'll ask you, if you've got a youngster out there heading to college or in college that wants to be a broadcaster, what's that one piece of advice you got for him or her?
Get involved. Find out whether it's a campus radio station or in this day and age, offices like the one I work in. If you come to UNH and you want to be a broadcaster, come see us because we'll give you the chance to at least do reps. I think there's some kids who expect to be on the air broadcasting football or basketball or hockey right away. You have to pay some dues. I did it when I was in college, and there's no fast track to the top, but there's opportunity. There's more opportunity than ever before. You can have your own podcast, but whether it's soccer, volleyball, field hockey, lacrosse, we have a lot of sports. And because of the streaming, there's more chances than ever to do things either on the air or just even if you don't make the air, but you're getting reps and you can see you're
Right.
developing. And that's the way to do it. You have to constantly prepare. You can't study and memorize something and become a broadcaster.
Right. And you've got people like yourself that, if a student came to you and said, "Hey, I'm up in the stands doing play-by-play into his telephone, into his recorder, and could you listen to me and critique me?" I'm sure a guy like you or Justin would be glad to listen to a few minutes and give constructive criticism,
Well, so would you, Sherm, right? We all want to, generally speaking, people like to help other people. And if they
Yeah.
take the time to say, "Oh, Mr. Murphy, you're good at this," even though I'm not, like, yeah, of course I'll listen and try to give help. It's rewarding for us. There's somebody on our women's basketball team, Cameron Fourier. You might know the last name.
Yeah.
Cameron Fourier is a transfer from the University of Binghamton. She got to campus and reached out and said, "I want to get on camera." Her father, former tight end for the New England Patriots, does work in Boston. Well, she wants to be on TV and trying to work around her college basketball schedule is working with our Wildcat Sports Productions about getting some on camera. I think it's great. She's reached out and we'll give you a shot. It's only a matter of how much time you can commit to it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I mean, it is a commitment and doing the homework. I mean, it just you don't walk in and put makeup on and say, "I'm here."
Yeah. Well, the story I like to tell in that regard is Natalie Norrie. Natalie Norrie, Boston fans will recognize now because she's done things for the Red Sox, for the Bruins, for the Worcester Red Sox. Well, she's from New Hampshire, walked in her freshman year, simply said, "I want to do something involved in sports." Don't know what it was. Well, it just so happened that while she was in my office, our then director of productions, Ben Gilbert, who now works for the Atlanta Falcons at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, he had just gotten a brand new ESPN microphone and wanted to show me. He walks in the office, and I said, "Natalie, who knows? Maybe one day you'll hold that." And she still tells me to this day that's what got her thinking about being on TV. And she did all the work from there. I have nothing to do with it. Amazingly successful and a bright future ahead. And it's because of the grind that she put together when no one was watching here at UNH for 4 years.
Well, you hit it on the head. I think you have to have something inside you that makes you want to try and maybe fail initially, or maybe not feel like, this isn't really working, but keep working at it. And then eventually it comes around. It really does. It just, and trust people, trust Mike Murphy or anybody that's a
Can
professional.
you cut that clip? Trust Mike Murphy, and I'll become a ringtone. Sure, I know I appreciate you saying all these wonderful things about me, but there's so many other talented people there. I'll drop another name since we're talking broadcasting and geeking out. Brendan Glasheen.
Yeah,
Brendan
Brendan.
Glasheen went to Syracuse, was a minor league baseball announcer right around the time where ESPN and UNH were getting together, which goes back 8 years now, believe it or not. He reached out to me. He was working in Charleston, West Virginia. "I'm looking to break in. I have a chance to go to another school and do internet radio for every game." And I said, "Well, Brendan, I can't give you every game now, but I know when we get on ESPN, we're going to do it right. Our Wildcat production team's going to have replays, high level cameras. You're going to be seen. You're going to be heard. Give us a shot and you'll be seen." Well, he did the work from there. For years, he was with us. Now I just saw on a website on his LinkedIn, he was voted the #1 broadcast team for the WNBA. and the Connecticut Sun. And
There
he
you
did
go.
all this work for us. And Tyler Murray, my other guy who did UNH and Hockey East, he's now the voice of his childhood favorite team and mine, the New York Knicks, radio announcer. But he was at UNH just a few short years ago.
So it can happen, kids. It can. Yeah.
Yes.
There's work.
Or you stay as long as I have and you have, Sherm, and we still talk to each other, which I love.
Well, my friend, I tell you, we're the old guard, and like a broadcaster once said to me, it's time for the new kids to come along.
Absolutely. And I'm more than happy to, there's plenty of more on the way, and I like to give others opportunities because people are getting tired of seeing and hearing me. But I'll when they give me a chance, I love doing it.
And again, I'm going to get together with you and Justin McIsaac, and if we get Bob Lippin, and the people like that have a lot of experience and talk shop sometime, and do one of these podcasts, just focusing on the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's some ugly for all of us.
Well, McIsaac and Murphy, you have ugly check marked. That's fine. But trying to share one microphone might be a problem for the two of us.
Yeah, well, it's a good point. Let's get back to the UNH Wildcat sports, the fall season, and then what's coming ahead, because before you know it, winter season is going to be here. So tell me, give me some highlights of what we're seeing over at UNH in Durham.
It's awesome. I love this time of year because it's the crossover season. Women's college hockey starting this week. Here we are, September, and the Wildcats start the hockey season with Mercyhurst coming in from Pennsylvania Thursday night at 6, and then Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon. It's the only 12:30 game we'll have all year. Come over at lunchtime, watch a Division I college hockey game. The men's team plays its first exhibition game against Maine October 3rd up in Brunswick, Maine. And then we will open the regular season at Michigan State for 2 games the following week. They're home the 24th and 25th of October for family weekend. 2 great chances. LIU Friday the 24th, Quinnipiac Saturday the 25th. But the fall is getting into conference play for men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, the defending America East champions, field hockey. And I got to give a shout out to cross country because we have a young lady on our women's cross country team named Ruth White. Ruth is from Orono, Maine. So take that, Black Bears. We've had 2 cross country races and she's won them both. This past weekend beat kids from Yukon, Seton Hall, Stony Brook, was an All-American runner last year in outdoor track. Truly a special kid, the most humble kid you'll ever meet. And she's beloved in 2 states, Maine and New Hampshire. And we're looking forward to seeing only a sophomore. She reminds me of a young Ellie Purrier, if I can put pressure on her.
Wow.
She's just like an amazing, special, humble athlete that happens to be right in our midst. And you just never know what you're going to see when it comes to college sports. That's why it's so great.
Well, you're very fortunate. I mean, I know you are day to day involved with the different sports. Just it's a dream. It would be a dream job for a lot of us. I know it's a lot of work. I mean, but there again, being able to interact with all these different teams and then the different players, that's really special.
Sherm, I couldn't agree more. I'm very fortunate. That's the phrase you used. And whether it's traveling with football team, as I've done for so many years of broadcasting hockey, but even this past weekend, I told you about Ruth and what she did. That's great. A volleyball team. It went to Texas A&M following them. But we had senior day already for women's soccer. They do their senior day early in the year before conference play because of all the emotions. Men's soccer beat Dartmouth, was involved in that. Women's hockey, Maine. It's just, I do see so many coaches, athletes, and there's nothing like whatever day of the week, whatever sport it is, and you know this, and I know you and Sam and Exeter, give me a game. Give me a sports game to be sitting in front of, and don't tell me I'm working. Say, this is great. Everything else, yes, there's parts of the job that are less desirable, but man, when the ball is up or the puck is out, I really enjoy it.
It's a labor of love, believe it or not, folks. It is. Even those times things don't go the way we always want them to.
Oh,
it's a labor of love.
And when people hear your voice, Sherm, they hear what you say wrong. As you know, and I know, there's some, isn't that the poem, The Man in the Arena?
Yeah.
I'd rather be the person who's being part of the show, hopefully usually good, but even when things don't go well, you just kind of learn from it and move on.
Roll with the flow, to use the old cliche. Now, before we sign off today, the 2-minute drill thing, I wanted to bring up a campaign, the Wildcats for Life campaign that's going on at UNH. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, so it starts. This is the third year we've done it now since Allison Rich became the director of athletics. The big spring fundraising campaign is the 603 Challenge. That is our biggest fundraiser. But Sherm, you know this from following college sports. The challenges are many, the haves and have nots, the divide grows bigger. You have to be philanthropic. You have to be finding ways to raise money. So this fall campaign is simply that, a way to give to Wildcats for Life. The money you give goes to everything for the athletes, from making sure the nutrition station stays open to mental health to funding some athletic training positions. You know, I don't want to bore people with the funding from the state and all that. You can read about it if you haven't followed it closely. It's challenging to be a public institution in 2025. Forget athletics. It's just challenging. So this time of year, it starts September 29th, runs through for 12 days after that. If you're thinking about, you love UNH in some form or fashion and can give a little bit, this is a great time to do it, because there will be some matching funds from some benefactors and underwriters. We have a great support system, but you can never have enough. Frankly, it's very tough to be a Division I school and a public institution at that.
And one great thing I love about the podcasting business that it's international. I mean, it amazes me the statistics I get from the folks that distribute this podcast, the different countries that are listening to us, and right here in the good old US of A, the states that listen to us. And I know we have some alumni that are out there throughout the US and maybe internationally. So listen to the man. How would they get in touch?
Yeah, well, go to unhwildcats.com. You will be able to find all the information on Wildcats for Life. Again, unhwildcats.com. Starting on the 29th, there will be a splash page. It'll be quite obvious how you can give. You can also Google Wildcats for Life UNH and find it, because we're even taking gifts early. But just so it's not so much like a telethon, I want to play off what you just said. It's so true. International students come to the University of New Hampshire a lot of times simply because there's an athletics program, whether it be skiing or men's soccer or hockey, and they're experiencing our campus and going into the workforce and staying in New Hampshire. But we also are a school where, especially our track and field programs, if you're from New Hampshire, there's opportunities to compete at the Division I level. Football players are from New Hampshire, track and field athletes. So many are from the state. It's an opportunity to stay close to home or come from around the globe. And we're just lucky to have a small piece of it here by working here.
And one thing in the 2 minute drill I wanted to mention, I just want to reinforce something I brought up in our previous podcast, that here in the Granite State, the local schoolboy football teams hold what they call New Hampshire Tackles Hunger Games. There are different times throughout the state. Each team, goes out to support the local food pantries. Here in the Seacoast area, it's the St. Vincent de Paul Society, but the New Hampshire Food Bank, and all these great organizations that help people who need food. And so if you're privy to a game, I know right here in Exeter, we've got one coming up this weekend as we speak, but the different towns and different teams will have different days they're doing it. So they usually, if you bring a non-perishable food item, you get in free to the game, and they also will take cash or check donation in case somebody doesn't want to bring groceries along with them that day at the game. So great cause. Again, people helping people right here in the Grand State. New Hampshire Tackles Hunger. All right. My friend, before we sign off, anything you'd like to throw on the table?
I'm just glad, Sherm, to visit with you. It seems like time flies, because it won't be long now before we're talking about the high school tournament basketball and you being courtside again. I do want to mention this. I take a Lundholm Gym for basketball this season. We're opening a new area called the Lundholm Loft.
Wow.
So when you walk into the gym, what used to be the workout area above the basket closest to the lobby, all that workout equipment's been removed, and that's becoming an area where fans can purchase season tickets and get a little more to eat, perhaps even a little more to drink than your average fare in Lundholm. So it's a real new area. Again, Allison Rich, our athletic director, worked for years to say, can't we have staff and faculty work out somewhere else and use this to help our basketball programs? Because Nathan Davis on the men's side, Megan Schoenecker on the women's side, we want to get UNH basketball to that level where they're going to the NCAA tournament. But we also want fan amenities that we have at Wildcat Stadium for football. We have at the Whittemore Center for hockey. Well, guess what? Lundholm Loft is coming in 2025-26.
Beautiful. Well, we look forward to it when we get over there for the tourney, for the state tourney. One thing I want to sign off with, I want to congratulate you. You now have not one but two grandkids. You have Michael. I watch Michael all the time. You have pictures on Facebook, and he's a cute kid. But now he's got a sister, Eloise.
Oh, little Eloise. Thank you, Sherm. Yeah, July 15th she joined us, and life has not been the same, and it's been better. It's unbelievable. As much as I enjoy all the UNH athletics events we've been to, nothing like sitting there and playing with Batman and Superman figures and picking up that little girl on occasion when she has a chance to smile at her pop. It's been awesome.
Well, right now, my friend, I've got you outnumbered 11-2, and I got a 12th grandchild coming in November.
I'm trying to pressure my daughter and son-in-law, but it's a tough conversation. I think that's the best.
I appreciate you coming on board, Mike, and we'll be touching base down the road again. I apologize for having to take a couple of weeks to get this done, but we got her done. That's all that matters.
Great things come to those who wait. Thank you for continuing the pursuit until you got me here, Sherm.
And thank you for being a listener, Mr. Murphy. And I want to thank all the listeners that join us every week. And of course, I always tell them, pass the word if they're enjoying the program. And we're on all the major podcast platforms. And again, thank you to Mike Murphy, our guest today, the Associate Athletic Director of Marketing and Communications for the UNH Wildcats. So on behalf of Mike Shermchester, inviting you to join us for the next edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast.